Okay, guys, very welcome back to the show, and I'm joined today by former WWE wrestler Doug Basham on the show for his second appearance. And Doug, thanks a million for your time, man.
Hey, thanks for having me back, man. Appreciate it.
No problem. Look, I suppose we're here to talk about Netflix and all that kind of thing, but we kind of have to start off with we lost two big characters in the wrestling world this week when Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt. I'm just wondering, have you any particular experiences you want to share about those two gentlemen?
Unfortunately, I've never had the opportunity to wrestle or work either one of the two.
Hmm.
Of course, Terry Funk, he was before my era, my generation of
Hmm.
wrestling, and then Bray was right behind me. And just so I live in Louisville, Kentucky now, and it just so happens SmackDown was in Louisville, Kentucky this past Friday, and some of the guys at OVW were there in the locker room as extras and stuff, and they were just saying how somber the locker room was and how down and everybody was because he was really well liked, and
Yeah.
he was a good dude too, from what I hear, really good dude.
Yeah, and of course he was so young as well, which is the shocking part of it.
Yeah, 36, I believe.
Yeah,
36. What's going on with all this young kids dying,
yeah,
heart attack,
yeah,
or whatever it is?
yeah. A lot of
Crazy.
sports people involved in that. That's a whole other story. We'll go down the rabbit hole a different day on that
Yeah,
one.
yeah. We'll leave that for another day.
We'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the show.
Okay.
Coming to Netflix. Wrestlers. There's a little image of it there. It came as a
Yeah,
surprise. It came as a surprise to me because obviously this has been filmed and it's ready to go. So, how did this all come about?
man. Well, one of the new owners who bought into the company with Al Snow and his partners, wanted to do some sort of a reality show type, and wanted to bring in an outside filming crew to follow and film Ohio Valley Wrestling. And the BBC network, I believe, a guy by the name of Greg Whitley, he's the director, producer of the show The Wrestlers. He did Last Chance U, and he did Cheer. And the production on both of those series is just amazing. This Greg is an amazing guy. I got to know him a little bit through 3 months of filming when they were here last year. Filmed and followed us for 3 months, and got to meet some of the other people, some of his other coworkers and crew members, Chelsea, Zoe. I mean, there's just so many of these individuals that I got to meet and work with that are just, and they know their stuff, man. So I kind of went on a rant there, but how did it all come about? One of our owners brought him in and had a dream and a vision and wanted to make it happen,
Yeah,
and we made it happen, man. And just from what you've seen in that trailer alone, amazing. It blew me away whenever I watched the trailer, and that is not even the top of the tip of the iceberg. Whenever it comes to everything that's going to be shown, we're really excited about it, and we can't wait till September 13th when it comes out, so the rest of the world can be introduced to OVW, Ohio Valley Wrestling, and to future stars of tomorrow and today's stars now. So we're really excited about it. We're pumped.
yeah. And what did they kind of expect from you guys? Because obviously, I know that you've been involved in TV production, whether it be on WWE and stuff like that, and you would have an understanding of how that kind of thing works. But was there a particular angle that they were coming from for this show?
Well, it's not a reality show. It's a docu
Yeah,
series, so it's documented. So they wanted to catch everybody, who they really are, and who they were both on camera whenever the lights are on and you're your character, and then
yeah,
when you were behind the scenes, when you were, you know you were off. You flip the switch when you're on, and you flip it off when you're off. And that's what they wanted to capture. They wanted to capture the realism behind all these kids. I call them kids because they're younger than me. Um, I think the only one older than me is Al. So I'm one of the old men running around the Ohio Valley Wrestling there. But so when you guys, when everybody watches this show, you're going to see these kids and these owners and these fans, just everybody, they're being themselves, and it's truly who they are. So there was no like, oh, hey, Doug, turn it up a little bit. And no, it was none of that. It was, what you see was raw, and what you see, you're going to see, so many different personalities in this show, and you're going to see people who and how they really are. You'll see some people that are narcissistic. You'll see some people who are just kind-hearted. You're going to see some people who care more for other people than they do themselves. You're going to see people who are selfish. You're going to see people who are self-centered. You're going to see people who are self-absorbed. You're going to see all kinds of stuff. You're going to see people crying. You're going to see people hurting. You're going to see people cheering. And if you're going to see people mad, you're going to see people sad. You're going to see people happy. This docu-series has a little bit of everything across the board, and I don't want to get. I haven't even seen it yet. I don't know. Only thing I have seen is the trailer, like you guys have, except I was there during a lot of the filming, and I'll tell as much as I can, but I don't want to give away too much. I want this to be like, I want this podcast to be like a trailer too, so people know what to expect. But it's not a made up wrestling story show. It is an actual docu-series of who these people, who these kids, who these owners, who they really are.
Yeah. Did this coincide, because I know you stepped back into the ring last year, seen a couple of matches listed. Did this coincide with that? With the show?
Did.
Yeah.
Yeah. We at OVW, our WrestleMania is called, we call it the big one. So you have a year's worth of storylines, that people are in storylines, and it all comes to a head at the big one and everything. So that was kind of the ending of going to be the ending of the show too. I probably shouldn't say too much, but everything will be leading to the big one. And
Yeah.
Al, because Al, that son of a gun, drugged me into the ring, and in that, me and Al tag together, and it was a dream come true for me, because I have always, in my whole career, I have always won the tag with head.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody thought I was going to say Al, no, head. I won the tag with head, and I got to.
Oh, brilliant. Here's a funny little comment here from Shane. I met him when he was over in IWW. He's talking about you, stuck in a car between him and Vito driving to Waterford. There you go. There's some memories for you there now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I remember when I came over to Ireland there and worked for Irish Whip back in the day, and met all those guys at Irish Whip. And I mean, all those guys were young and hungry guys, just like the athletes that are in OVW, and great group of guys over there. Worked hard, put on great shows everywhere we went, all over the island there, or all over Ireland, the island. And I had a lot of fun when I was over there.
We've put a lot of guys over there, because Sheamus and Drew McIntyre were two of the biggest stars on this island for a long time.
Yeah.
You probably maybe even met them over here in your journeys.
I've run into them a few times and stuff. And then Sheamus, just as I was finishing up with WWE, he was coming in, and he was in the developmental system there for a little bit. And when I was in Tampa, because I used to live in Tampa, Florida, and they moved the developmental system down to Tampa. So good guy. I like him. He's entertaining, he's funny, and Drew's he's good. He's a really good dude too. Little more serious than Sheamus seems like, but still, all in all, a good dude.
Us Irish are a bit more chillaxed, we'll say.
Yeah.
Ian wants to know, are you still in contact with Danny Basham?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We talk. Me and Danny probably talk at least once a month, maybe once every three weeks or so, we'll get on the phone and just see how each other are and how we're doing, and just catch up, just like two buddies, just calling and checking on one another, you know.
Yeah, yeah. We'll go back. We'll go back to the to the show again, and I
Mhm.
just want to. When you're looking for talent, what are you looking for in people that are coming to OVW? And does it have to transcend into that entertainment side, even doing something like this as well, to put certain characters in place to make this show?
You know, I'm asked that question a lot. You know, like Doug, what are you looking for in, on OVW, for
Mm,
OVW? And the main thing, the one thing that I'm looking for is this thing called the it factor, seeing who has it. You know, because you're either born with it or not. But it doesn't mean that you can't still go out there and work your butt off and make it. Because there's a lot of guys in the WWE now and in the past that have had to work their butt off and scratch and claw for every ounce of TV time they get, you know. And then there's some who just have it and it comes real easy. And you know who those people are when you see them. So I do the same thing in OVW. I look for that it factor in people. And I know at OVW we have the OVW Wrestling Academy now, where it's like it's a school, and it's just you're just not teaching wrestling. You're teaching these kids everything from wrestling A to Z, from writing and production and agenting and refing and managing and wrestling and finances and the life after wrestling. What do you want to do, and the history, teaching the history of wrestling. So you come in, you know your sport, frontwards, backwards, up and down. So it's really a well-rounded experience with the Ohio Valley or the OVW Wrestling Academy. So when looking, if anybody out there is watching this podcast, when you're looking to find a school or find a place to train to learn wrestling, I would always said, and not that nobody else out there knows what they're doing that has schools and stuff like that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, when I was looking, or if I was looking, I would want to go someplace that somebody had been there. You know what I mean? Because those people that had been there, that's where I want to go, and that's what I want to do, and I want to be like. I would want to be like them. Plus, those people still have, still probably have some good connections. So when I'm ready, they can make a phone call and move a guy right up. But again, I'm not saying that if you've never been into the WWE that you don't know what you're doing. No, I'm just saying that's my preference. And here in Ohio Valley Wrestling at OVW, you have two guys that have been there and done it and made a lot of money. And one of the guys made a bigger name than the other one, but still, you have Al Snow, and then you have me, Doug Basham. They're teaching at the school, going through tape reviews. OVW is also another training facility that has a weekly TV show going 20. I think we're entering coming up on 25 or 26 years of consecutive TV every week. I think the only other show that's been a live show that's been aired longer is Monday Night Raw.
That's incredible
We,
achievement.
we, we, we've even beat out SmackDown. SmackDown. We OVW. I was at the very first OVW TV taping. That's how old I am. But I remember that. I remember that. Uh, and I remember when SmackDown just started too, and we had already. I think we were a few months ahead of that. So number two, we're number two longest running live wrestling TV show out there, and it's pretty awesome to be a part of that.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And then, what's the current situation in America like with independent wrestling? Because I know after COVID, there was a massive hunger for people to come back out to shows and stuff like that. Has that tailed off, or is the hunger still there?
I don't know. It's. I think the hunger's still there because we at OVW, we run a weekly show, and we are building a hold about 400 people. And on our big shows, once a month, we'll run our big shows, and we sell out on those big shows every time. Ever since the first of the year, actually, ever since the big one when the Netflix was here, we've been selling out those big shows every month, and that's a testament to all the guys out there working hard and believing what Al is trying to do and being willing to listen and give us, us, the OVW, the producers and agents, what we're asking them to do, and just trust us. And it's all working, man. Our show is. I'm a little biased, yeah, because I'm part of it and I'm proud of it. But our show is it's really good. We have a lot of storylines. They're not shotgunned, they take their time. They develop over several months. It's wrestling like I used to watch when I was growing up, on all the storylines, and it drew me in. And I'm so glad and proud to be a part of, what part of Al Snow's OVW, because I was there right at the very beginning at OVW with my uncle, Nightmare Danny Davis, who was the founder of OVW. So it's good to have started there and then come back to give back. So it's kind of like went in full circle, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Yeah. What did you think of AEW in Wembley yesterday in front of over 80,000 people? That is crazy, isn't it?
This is what I think right here. Good, good job. And congratulations to him. Because all of us wrestlers, we're either retired or still in it or want to do it or whatever. We love it because there's more than one place to go now, and there's, you got WWE obviously, and AEW obviously, and then you have several of these other little smaller promotions that are starting to come into their own too, like OVW and NWA and MLW, and some even a little bit smaller promotions that have a wrestling school with TV, like Booker T's out there over there in Texas. He's got TV presence out there, and he's got a school. And I love seeing all this stuff pop up because it just means there's more places for our guys to go, and more places for people to cut their teeth and grow and learn how to do this if they want to do this for a living.
Yeah. And how can fans catch OVW then? You guys still going through Fight TV on a weekly basis?
Yeah. Obviously locally, we're on a lot of our local channels in the state of Kentucky. And then, but for those who don't live around Louisville, Kentucky, you can catch OVW on the Fight TV network or the Fight TV app every Thursday night. Of course, it's Eastern time in the U.S., which is East Coast New York time, 7 to 9, and it's a live show. When it starts, it's stressful. it's stressful until it's over. Then your butthole's puckered, and you're all tense, and then when it's over, it's like, oh, okay, relief. We did it, and hoping that nothing goes wrong. Which in the Netflix series, you'll see all the aggravations. You'll see some of the issues that we had to deal with, some of the issues that happen that we have to overcome. And during a live show, stuff happens. You gotta be able to fix stuff like that. And Al does a wonderful job. He's a great leader. Does a wonderful job fixing things. He's a quick thinker, and he's got a pretty good crew also, that helps him. That's pretty dedicated, and they love being there as well. Everyone from the people in the concession stand selling concessions all the way to the people up there flipping the switches and holding the camera. I mean, everybody. We've got a really good crew.
Yeah. What kind of results are you hoping to get out of this show for OVW getting forward? Is it in terms of like maybe more exposure, bigger audiences, maybe room to expand and travel a bit more?
I think so. Maybe I think what some of the owners are wanting, they're wanting a national TV deal. I think is to expand and grow and broaden our horizons. Obviously, sponsors. That's a big one because if you need money takes money to make money. You know what I mean? Sure. And then just more exposure for some of our guys so they can maybe get maybe they can get seen and exposed to go overseas, or maybe even move up to AEW or move up to NXT, WWE, get contracts. But I would love for OVW to get some sort of a national TV contract deal, so we can put these kids under contract ourselves and pay them to do this for a living, so they don't have to, wait tables on the weekend and wrestle through the week, or go
Sure.
bouncing at the bars on the weekend or at night, and because everybody's fake it until you make it kind of thing. I used to always say, because whenever I was cutting my teeth, I was working odds and end jobs, and then wrestling whenever I could, and learning, and always trying to be in the ring at least 4 or 5 times a week. So it'd be nice to be able to have enough capital, enough money to put these guys in a contract, and lock, I don't say lock them down, but be able
Keep
to, they can
happy.
just, yes, so this is all they have to do, and they can really concentrate and give 100%.
Do you know how many episodes that this is going to be, and do you know how long the episodes are going to be, or are you aware of it on
I do.
things? Okay. Would you like to share? Are you allowed to share?
Nope.
Okay.
So just watch. You will not be. You'll be happy for hours on end. And
Okay. So I'll put it a different way. Will all the episodes be released at the same time? Yeah.
I think so. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think they are going to be released all at once, so you don't have to wait.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait week after week after week for the next one.
Chris Ward wants to know, why did WWE scrap your first entrance music? It was killer.
I don't know. I don't know. They just tried something different when they put me and Danny together. Then they put Shaniqua with us, so they gave us something different. So it wasn't just us two. It was the 3 of us. I think that's kind of what that was. I like the one entrance music. I think it was called Toe Jam, I think was the name of it. I think that's the one they're talking about. That one was boss. I like that one.
Yeah. If you're still watching, Chris, let me know what you're talking about. Is Danny Basham still wrestling?
Nope, he is retired. Danny, when we were finished with TNA, Danny just hung up his boots and said he was done. That was that was a long time ago.
Whoa,
and then he went back to school, got his master's degree, and now Danny is a teacher now, and he teaches autistic children.
Oh, very nice. Absolutely massive change of direction, isn't it? But fair
Yeah.
play to him.
Yeah, yes. And, Danny's one of those guys that's got a huge heart too, man. He's a wonderful, wonderful individual. And I was so blessed and lucky to be able to travel up and down the road with a guy, but such a good guy like him. He's a really good friend, man.
Someone wondering, why don't you do meet and greets? Do you do the convention world?
It's coming.
Okay. It's coming.
After September 13th, my whole world changes.
Okay. What state does he teach? Does he teach at?
Indiana.
Indiana. Okay. Yeah. So this is kind of, this is going to be great for you as well, like catapulting yourself back into the spotlight as well. Yeah,
because I've been off TV, and there's that saying, out of sight, out of mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this right here will bring me back into the spotlight, and I have a lot of ideas. I have a lot of things that I want to do, want to accomplish. Do I want to get back in the ring and wrestle? No, not really. Not really. I'm too beat up. I'm 51 years old now. I mean, I will. If the price is right, of course, right? But of course, and I like to think that I'm probably in the best shape I've ever been in my life right now at 51, and I can't believe, and I owe, all these kids wanting to be in shape and just wanting to get back into wrestling. And if I have to take my shirt off, I don't want to, be a fat pal guy, embarrassed. So, and then just say that I'm not embarrassed at all. And I say this to all the guys in the locker room. I go, why am I at 51? One of the best looking bodies in here. What's wrong with you guys? You want to do this for a living? You got to be in shape. But I do it just to, grind their gears a little bit, to motivate them. And that's one of the reasons why I went to try and get as in good a shape as I could to lead by example. if I'm 51 and I can do this, you're 21. You can definitely do it.
Yeah. So obviously, then your body is in pretty good condition
Yeah,
from all the years of wrestling. What do you put
I
that
mean,
down to?
what's that?
What do you put that down to? Because not a lot of guys, like, if after spending so long in the business, would still be able to go, and their bodies, like, would have been through a lot, and yours
Well, I
has been.
mean, it's aesthetically, I look like I'm in pretty good shape, but you peel the onion back and you look inside, I'm pretty broken down. you know, I got a bad hip, um, and I'm probably, I was looking to retire from the in ring performance, this year or next year sometime, and get a hip replacement because it needs it, and because I'm constantly in pain. It's either like a 1 or a 2 some days. Other days it's like a 9 or a 10. And then so I gotta get that thing fixed. So and once I get that hardware in my body, I can't be doing crazy
Yeah,
stuff in wrestling. So
yeah. Someone is saying I would be great to meet you at Philadelphia WrestleMania weekend at some capacity. I reckon that could happen. Be a
it
lot of
could.
people there.
We don't know when this what we don't know where this Netflix show is going to take us. We're still, it's up, and we don't know either. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? I just know that since the trailer has come out, that I've been getting contacted by a lot of people, and I am on purpose haven't done any podcasts before this thing come out, and you're actually the first one that I've done. And
Appreciate it.
yeah, you're very welcome. Thanks for
Yeah,
having me.
no
And
problem.
but once this thing hits, that's when now the trailer. Now we go out there and try and talk up the show and try and get people excited about watching it, and without giving away too many details.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to give away any spoilers, as it were.
Yeah. No spoilers. I want
Uh,
to, trust me, but I want to tell you guys everything, but I don't know everything because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it. I've only seen the trailer. So,
you'll probably see it when we do.
as a matter of fact, that's exactly when we'll see it, when it comes out on September 13th. And trust me, I'll be right there in front of the TV, watching every episode, however
on
many they
September
are.
on September 13th. Will that be released over here on September 13th as well, or is that just going to be in America?
I'm not for sure on that one. That's a good question, but I'm
Mhm.
assuming it's going to be released September 13th everywhere.
Okay.
And I'm hoping, we've kind of got a running bet at OVW about how many views that the show will get. And I said, I think I lowballed myself. I said at least 55 million views. That's what I'm going for. But I
Yeah.
think that's lowballed because I've heard some people say 70, 75, 80.
And how
I
many
hope.
people have Netflix? Like hundreds of millions of people, surely
Oh
at
my,
this point.
everybody, just about
Mhm.
everybody. And
Yeah.
everybody, and hopefully if they don't have Netflix, when this show comes out, this will help make them buy it for at least a month so they can watch it.
Yeah.
Get a
Yeah.
month,
Exactly.
subscription.
Whatever happened to your manager? Do you still talk to her? I assume, and he's talking about Shaniqua. What does she do
Shaniqua,
these days?
Linda Miles. I think she's I actually saw that Cincinnati. She lives in Cincinnati, Ohio, and there's an article on her, the local news over there, and she's like a referee for basketball because she was a standout um, basketball player, I think for Rutgers. Very
Mm.
athletic, and she could hoop. And as far as I know, I thought, and because I have kind of lost contact with her, I reached out to her on Facebook, but I think she's just kind of done with wrestling too, and just kind of when some people say when they're done with everybody, everything, and that could have been what she has done because I haven't talked to her. I've reached out to her once and haven't got a response. So, but as far as she goes, I think the last I heard, maybe she was a police officer in Cincinnati, but also repping. But I don't know that 100% for sure.
Okay. Okay. Um, we've about 10 minutes left, so if anyone wants to put in any questions, they can. One I wanted to ask you about was you and Danny worked a lot of matches between 2005 2006 with Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, and you guys had a lot of good matches. Like, what was it like working with those two guys for such a long run, whether it be on
Oh man,
TV and house shows?
you talk about going to school and learning from the best with Eddie and Ray Ray. Uh, it was a night off. It was so easy. And when you're in there with those two guys, they're not only just working with you, they're teaching you. And I thought I was, whenever I got moved up from the developmental, it took me about 8 years to get a developmental contract, and then another year or so to get moved up to the active roster. So I thought, well, I've got 8 years experience. I'm pretty good. And I thought I was pretty good. And boy, did I find out what I did not know when I moved up there and started working with those guys. They were a whole nother kind of awesome. You know what I mean? And it was a learning experience. And I'm just blessed that they took me under the wing and was, wanted to help me learn, because in wrestling, it takes more than one person. You can't do it. You can't do it all yourself. It takes three of you, so or five of you, depending on how many people are in there, and everybody wants a dance partner. So, and Eddie helped groom me and become the performer, I guess, if you want to say call it performer, the wrestler that I was.
Yeah. Do you have any memories, speaking of Eddie, of that night him and Chris Benoit won the titles, because you were wrestling at WrestleMania 20 as well? Do you have any
Uh,
memories of what the vibes were like backstage that night with the two guys and having the
oh yeah,
moment?
it
What
was
was that like?
emotion. It was emotional because that's it's you know no matter what you want to think about wrestling, everybody wants to be a champion. Everybody wants to have that title, put
Moment.
that on their resume, and then to have two best friends come over from another organization and then move to the top of the organization they were in was just a really emotional, and it's like when I like with Danny. I told Danny, I'll tell everybody, I had three goals whenever I got into wrestling. One, I wanted to work for Vince McMahon. That's one I wanted to work. I wanted to be in the WWE. Two, I wanted to be a champion of some sort, did not matter. And then three, I wanted to be in a WrestleMania. Check, check, check. I got all
Yeah.
those. So, those are kind of some of the goals that you would have when you get into this. And when you accomplish them, you get emotional. And when you're happy, you're happy, you're sad, you're hurting, you're feeling good all at the same time. And it feels good to be able to check those things off your bucket list.
Yeah. That WrestleMania 20 was like obviously massively memorable. But the one thing that I remember from it is the Goldberg and Brock thing. The
Oh,
both guys were leaving. They threw poor old Steve Austin into the middle of it,
yeah.
and things went bad. What was it like being around those guys after all that happened?
um, let's see if I can remember correctly. I don't think the match was one of the was it was a 5-star match if I can remember correctly.
Yes.
Everybody, you're in the biggest stage in our industry. You're on the biggest stage there. You obviously want to have the best match of the night, and I think both of them were maybe a little frustrated that things happened the way they happened, because we're all perfectionists and we all want to be the best and do the best. And when something slips up or something happens, it just really can really aggravate you. But
Yeah.
we're all professionals and we move on.
Yeah. I think both guys' contracts were expiring, and the people knew about it
Yeah.
because like these days as well with wrestling, I think people maybe know more than they should. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, the internet killed wrestling,
Yeah.
just like MTV killed the. Let's see
Music.
how that song go.
Yeah.
Video killed the radio star,
Star.
or something
Yeah.
like that. Same thing the internet did with wrestling. Kind of
Yeah,
killed it.
I'm seeing like last night people know that CM Punk and Jungle Boy had some altercation backstage, and like why do people know this stuff? But then
I
again,
don't know.
mightn't be true at all.
Yeah, it could create buzz. You never know. You know what I mean? Sometimes
Yeah,
I said this when our show comes out in Netflix. I'm ready for all kinds of comments, and there's going to be positive comments, there's going to be negative comments, and the way I look at it, and I'm telling everybody, hey, whether it's good or bad, they're talking.
yeah.
So I hope all the comments are good, and I hope people enjoy it. But there's probably going to be some that people that everybody has an opinion, and everybody's free to express it. So it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how people take the show, welcome the show, and talk about the show, whether good or bad.
Yeah. TV shows, they're always going to come from angles with things, and I hope they don't make you and Al look like Joe Exotic and Carol Baskin.
It's funny you say that.
Oh, really?
Funny you say that. Just watch the show. Just watch the show.
Okay.
There are definitely some characters on there. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. So I may have just worked myself into something there that I had no clue I was saying.
You open
Yeah.
a can of worms. So, but I can't talk
But
about it.
we can talk. We can. What we do when the show has aired, we can come back on and talk about the show.
Absolutely,
That's
I'd
what
be
we
more
can
than glad
do.
to do that. And
Yeah.
you can ask more questions, and
I
I can give
yeah.
a little more detail.
I understand the situation you're in. It's cool. Were you
Yeah,
there for the Kurt Angle and Daniel Pewter
I
key
was.
lock? I guess.
I was.
Yeah.
Yep, I was there.
What
That
was the
was.
vibe like backstage? He says.
Uh, I think if I'm not 100% sure, so if I'm not 100% sure, I'm not going to say anything. But Kurt had a pinched nerve in his he had a neck. He had to have neck surgery, and it was his left arm. He only had about 30% or 40% strength in that arm, because Kurt Angle is a gold medalist.
Yes, a real
No,
wrestler.
well, he's the best in the world at wrestling. So no amateur UFC guy or whatever is going to take him down if he's 100%. Not at all. And that's that. That's the only reason. That's the only reason Daniel Pewter got him and got him key locked, because he didn't have the strength to move, and he locked it in. So there's that. That is the truth.
And we discussed your tough enough experiences with the flag on the last podcast. If people want to check that out.
Oh yeah, that was real. My job was on the line. I had to stop. Me and Danny couldn't let anybody get past that flag. So I definitely go back and listen to all that, because that was some good stuff.
Yeah. There was a good few news articles came out of that, because
Oh
you
yeah,
were pretty much like, but that's the way it was. He was. Do you think obviously the Pewter thing though led to things like that happening, because Vince didn't want you guys to be showing up in any way,
yeah. That because what happened, with which said the Big Show was slamming the kids and they were getting up, and I think he was supposed to slam them through the ring, and Big Show's got a big heart, he's a super nice guy, and then Kurt was supposed to just wrap him up, and then it's live TV, stuff happens, and then if the kids would have got past me and Danny, they probably would have. I found out that they had Bob Holly and Charlie Haas waiting in the wings to come out and redo everything if they got past us, because Vince didn't want any more of his stars getting embarrassed.
I would imagine that Bob Holly wouldn't have been too gentle with those guys.
No, those kids are lucky they didn't get the flag.
Yeah.
Charlie Haas, he was a roughhouse too now.
Yeah. I think he's back in the ring now as well. So fair play to him as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to take only one more question, and then we're just going to wrap up. What was the reaction like when Brock suplexed the Big Show and the ring broke? Did you know beforehand? Yeah. Simple yes. He did know. Okay,
no, man, it was real. It was real. Wrestling is real. It's real entertaining.
But this is going to be real entertaining. Wrestlers, September 13th, Netflix. I'll let you have the final say on it, what people can expect.
Man, I'm super excited and stoked. Not just me, but everybody involved at OVW. We're really proud of this. I know Greg. I think it's Whiteley. Is his name? He's really proud of this. Everybody at Netflix is proud of it, and I'm hoping that everybody watches it and enjoys it, and you maybe become fans of Ohio Valley Wrestling and start catching us on the Fight TV network, and maybe you guys become fans of some of these new kids, and maybe become a fan of mine. And then you guys can go to my website, which is almost done. You can buy all my T-shirts.
Okay, so when your website is done, you can send it over. I'll pop it underneath this video as well.
Absolutely, I think it'll be the DougBasham.com is what it'll be, and I'll be selling all kind of merch on there and giving some updates and stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited about that. It looks pretty good. It's almost done.
You know, if the show is out worldwide on September 13th, I'll get to see it before you.
Yeah, that is correct.
That's
That
pretty
is
rad.
correct. Well, maybe it'll come out the 14th for you guys.
Possibly.
I don't know,
Look,
man.
I wish you nothing but success anyway, man, and I'm looking forward to
Thank
seeing
you.
everything. We'll talk maybe at the end of September when things
Yeah.
die down a little bit, because I know you're going to be busy now, and we'll talk about the show.
I look forward to it, my friend. Thank you so much, and thank you everybody for listening.
Yeah, thanks very much.